Live and direct. It's Sway in the morning.
Right here on Shade 45.
Scott Bell is with us today, right here. It's like I could mark this off my bucket list right now, man. and that was you way back then. And I'm not going to harbor on happy days, but you know, you worked around so many great people, including Ron Howard, who's gone on to become, you know, a Hollywood film mogul. Did you know then that he would become? Did he show symptoms of this type of talent back then to you?
First of all, nice to see all of you.
Thank you. I know I just jumped right on your neck.
No, that's
right
okay. No, it's good. We met last time I was here, but it's good to see you. But we haven't sat down. Ron always was looking around the cameras and always asking questions. And he said from early on that he wanted to be a filmmaker.
Okay.
So when he left after, I think, the 7th year, nobody was really surprised. He had a deal to go direct the movie. I don't remember what it was. But no, he just had that kind of head. I mean, he was making films, if you talk to him, making films on his own since he was a little boy.
Really?
Had a little projector. Him and his brother Clint, whom I know, and his dad, they'd go out and make little movies.
Yeah.
And that was his thing. So he always had that in him.
He always had that in him. You worked with a lot of greats. One of my favorite series that people very seldom talk about is Diagnosis Murder.
Seldom.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, but that was such a great. Dick Van Dyke was in that.
Yeah.
Right? And I used to love watching the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
And he personifies to me what an actor is. True actor could do almost anything. You know, what was that like working with him?
Yes, that's a very good observation, by the way. He is to work with him. He's an effortless performer. I hate saying this expression because it sounds corny, but it's just who he is.
Yeah.
He just, dance, Dick, and he does a thing. Sing, Dick, and not that we do that, but that's what he does. And it was just simple for him. Good guy, quiet guy, good storyteller though. If you got him in the mood. His son Barry, whom I worked with for a bunch of years on that show, one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life. Good experience. 1 hour shows are tough to do. It's a lot of hours of your life that are just wasted sitting in a trailer. And I actually left the show because I didn't. Gary Marshall taught me something, who created Happy Days, said if the show's not fun, go home because life is too short. And after 2 years, I just said, guys, I'm just not having fun here. But the experience was fantastic. Dick was great to work with. We worked part of it in Denver and part of it in L.A., so it was a good time. Scott
Bell is here. I'm trying to get as much as I possibly can because I only got you for a few minutes. I wanted to get your take on, you were a teen star, pop star before, that you were part of the reason why this terminology was created. You were so big amongst teenagers and even beyond. You say, oh, you shrug your shoulder? You were pretty big, man. Well, VH1's top number, 18? Top teen star of all time. Was it, when you look at some of what the Lindsay Lohans and the Amanda Bynes and the Justin Biebers, or, they're constantly in the forefront for controversy, getting in trouble, something provocative that's being said, being worn. How difficult is it to be a teen pop star from what you remember from your times? Like, what are the pitfalls of it?
It's all very addictive, and it's all very romantic, and it's all. It seems a lot of people coming at you, and you're always sort of coddled and treated with kid gloves, and it's easy to fall into that. But the other side of it, if you have, if you have a good family. Like I did, it seems to be okay. Listen, I went through a period where my head got big.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. I was on television every week. I had 30, 40 million people watching me, and I'd go make a personal appearance. There'd be 15,000 screaming girls there. And of course, it gets to you. It has to if you're human. But if you have a good family, if you work with decent people, it makes it easier. Because my father, who was I'm from Brooklyn, and my old man's God rest his soul, an old world Italian guy. He would have whacked me around if I got out of line, and which is the right thing to do, And nowadays you can't do anything with anybody. You can't even yell at your kid, and it becomes they call the cops on you. But you need a little bit of discipline, a little bit of fear in you, and I think that's what helps. And the other thing I think for me. Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Can't do it. You're gonna end up dead, or you're gonna end up with a miserable life, and that's just the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
And I can't stand these kids making spectacles of themselves. And a lot of times it's drug induced, and it's just I have a 5-year-old. I know you have a daughter too, who's 15, and I hate seeing it. So I just wish that they would not. I just wish that wouldn't perpetuate and feed on itself, because it seems the only people that get the press are the people that are doing the things that dancing on award shows, and I don't know, whatever that was. And I
you talking about Miley Cyrus?
yeah, and that was a little bothersome to me.
Yeah.
But like we work the show I have now called See Dad Run on Nick at Night. We work with a girl named Ryan Newman, who's 15 years old, and she's the straightest kid I've met in my life. And I wish that my kid grows up like her. She's just, and I hope, and I'm going to force her to grow up as a good human being. But that to me is problematic. But the daughter on the show that I play is just a straight kid, good student, loves her parents, doesn't want to go out partying. So that to me is the big problem. I think for young people is they see that behavior gets publicity, and for some reason there's no bad publicity anymore. I mean, outside of killing someone, and even in that,
the media plays a role in this too.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Put too much spotlight on it, you think?
Yeah. I mean, look at all the press that Miley Cyrus got from doing that. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And probably what she wanted. But anyway, who am I?
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45.